comes the news with a twist and a grin. Steve and Alan diving in again. Almost daily, but always sharp. He'll hit your brain like a lightning spark. Steve and Alan, almost daily. Laughs and facts, served up plainly. Your dose of wit, it's never shady. Steve and Alan, almost daily.
Hello and welcome to Stephen Allen Almost Daily. I'm Stephen Allen. It's almost daily. We're up. Yes, you might have heard a live cough. I've realised I need to press another button just to get rid of the screen. Yeah, got to reset it. Otherwise, if we change scenes, this bad boy's going to be back. It's Friday, live and loose. We've got jingles for this. The original jingle being, where's it gone? This one.
Friday, live and loose.
If you don't know what a Friday live and loose is, good, because it's not really a thing, is it? But on this podcast, Friday, there's less prep than normal, which is saying something, isn't it? How is that even possible? But somehow we managed to do less prep. You'd better have some questions in the comment sections, because I have not brought a lot of material. Proper memes, however, doing the AI stuff. Look at this for the new one. Welcome to Friday Live and Loose with me, Steve and Alan. Yep, that's a thing now. We're up to date. So there's all the buttons pressed. Actually, not even all the buttons pressed. I was going through and adding some of all the buttons in. Stuff that we've not used for ages. Steve is a meme. Look at that. Back in the day when I had the vigour of a young man who could move his neck that way. So we'll see how that's going. Comment section as well. Get involved in the YouTube. There was a comment from Joodles about YouTube questions or comments or something. Question for you, Steve. Thank you for having questions. I have no material. Do you change the chat box to all messages? Or do you leave it on top messages? I've been pondering the censorship of certain words and wondering if that's it instead. Interesting. I then looked. I was viewing top messages on my screen, whereas this thing on the screen is all messages. And as Proper Memes points out, top messages is helpful when there's lots of people in the chat. I don't think it makes a difference in our case. You wound me, sir. I mean, it's correct. It's exactly the same on both of the two I look at. But you wound me, sir. Speaking of being wounded, remember on the last show, previously, when I was showing you the message I got from that casting researcher wanting to know if I want to go on Celebs Go Dating. Stevie's back, and it turns out they want me to be one of the plebs. And I said, I would do, but, I'm not single. The missus would kill me. And she replied saying, oh, apologies, like it was a real big... Oh, no, it's fine. Because before I wasn't offended that you may have presumed I was single. But the fact that you've apologised for it, now I'm like, what were you thinking when you messaged me like, here's someone who looks like he's absolutely desperate? What? So somehow it managed to go from that moment of me thinking, maybe my career's not dead after all, to no, my career's dead, but at least they think I'm interested in dating. No, she thinks I look desperate. Right, well, great. You're up to date. What else have we got going in the comment section? Cough. Yeah, I coughed. All right. Live throat clearing. You get it for free. I forgot to take the mute on the desk. I've been having a chat with ChatGPT, who's now up to date with all that is in the studio. It asked me if I could list all the technology, all the kit that I use, and said it was a pretty good setup, actually. It's pretty bloody good setup, actually. It's pretty good. My ChatGPT, I've picked a female voice, of course I have. She was very impressed by my mixing desk. I'm starting to see what that woman on Instagram meant now. All right, fair enough, move on. He tried to get our attention, letting us know he's watching our chat. Yes, exactly, I'm watching. It filters Lewis's messages, says Joodles, and sometimes there are only 20 people in. Yeah, but imagine the kind of people who watch that. They should be filtered. If ever there's a need for filtering. Joodles said, where'd I go? Hang on. Makes a big difference. Top chat, even as a mod, my messages don't always show up. Well, they should do. They should. It's the same thing. I've looked. The one on screen is not the top chat. I looked up how many people watch celebs trying to get laid. And they only had 180,000 viewers, says Doodles. You'd probably get away with it. Yeah. I can't help but think it would be one of the worst experiences of your life to be rejected nationally. Do you know, previously I've always kept my level of rejection focused. And I think that's the key to it. The idea of going on some sort of celebs go dating and would it not just be awkward? What do you do for a living, Steve? Well, I mean, I thought I was on telly, but it turns out no. Do you know what I mean? What do you do I used to be, did anyone remember the MASH report? And everyone would be like, no. Yep. That would be the conversations that we go. Chris says, was that Gollum?
It's because we're stupid.
Afternoon all, says Charlotte. I've had an accident this morning, so I need cheering up. What kind? Car? Falling over or wet yourself? They could be either. Could be two of the three or all three, couldn't it? Because if you fell onto a car and then wet yourself, or if you slipped because you wet yourself, if you wet a car and then because you were trying to dance on the bonnet, I don't know. I don't know even why you're asking me. Charlotte says, impressions, singing, all is welcome. We've already got a Gollum in there. And if you listen to the podcast of the audio-only version, there's definitely a Morgan Freeman in there because I can't stop myself these days. I still don't know whether marrying AI is better or worse than marrying in death row. That's true. Because we've talked about this before. Women, there's something wrong with you. You want to marry men on death row. Talk about it. You accuse us of not wanting commitment. I want someone who's legally murdered by the state pretty soon. So, don't want this to go on forever. The other option to that is the models who marry like 98-year-old billionaires. That's till death do you part. And they're like, yeah. But you're right. AI should just be a normal chat thing. But there'll be some blokes taking it way too far. The kind of wrong-uns who turn up on This Morning with a sex doll stroking its hair. Oh, I liked her. She's my favourite. She's the second one. Need new pants, Charlotte, says Chris. Very good of you to offer. Let's not fill up her Kofi before is that a phrase? Hey. They think a fractured rib. Good Lord. I did one of those once. That's a full ouchie, isn't it? That is a full. Ooh, that takes a while. They're still not quite rounded like they should be. Our thoughts are with you. So go and fill up her Kofi. Where else have we got to? Need new pants. Basically, that's the main thing. They. Who are they, says the ever-vigilant Kermit in the chats. Yeah. They say money can't buy you love, but who are they? They think, misread that. Who do you think they would be? Are you, they should be meaning medical people, yeah? Or are you getting upset because it's a genderless pronoun? They've turned, it's a woke chat. So anyway, keep the comments coming because we don't have much else to do on today's Live and Loose or whatever it's called. We can start off by having a quick look at the front pages. Oh, I've got to do the button. Front pages.
Here are today's front pages.
I can't be bothered because it's more budget talk. Stick to the back teeth of having it. There we go. Let's have a look. Britain's being fleeced by my niece. I quite like this front page, actually. Instead of just going into the detail of the budget, which is good for us to pay attention to, but dull. This is finding out that even Rachel's uncle hates the budget. I mean, the idea that you can find a relative who falls out with you is not that shocking, is it? Most families have some sort of schism where they don't talk to some sort of uncle. Or also the idea that this is our news agenda now. Let's find relatives of people and see what they think about the story, because there will be so many ex-wives and husbands who really want to get in on a story. So that's going to be a lot of fun these days. Front page of the Daily Mail, the brain drain from Starmer's socialist chaos. Clever people are leaving the UK. I'm not leaving the UK. Ergo, the Daily Mail have flipping burnt me in a syllogism. Do you know what I mean? I've never been called stupid through the medium of syllogism before. And I feel like somehow you shouldn't be allowed to be called stupid. If you understand the logical construct of a syllogism, you shouldn't get shade from the Daily Mail, and yet somehow they did. Also, what today's residents of TV's Benefit Street say about Reeves' welfare bonanza, simply because Kemi referred to it as something about Benefit Street. Some genius working at the Daily Mail was, let's get the people from the actual Benefit Street. And they're calling me stupid? How very dare. Can Wicked lift Hollywood's curse? Nah. Front page of the Times also has Princess of Wales there doing some flowers. A little bit of a skip. Don't really know what's in. Day one protection of workers. I think that's in the actual news. We'll find out about that. It's not surprising, is it? And stealth taxes mean dismal living standards, say economists. When economists can't afford stuff, you know you're in trouble. More of the front pages in the audio-only podcast from today's radio show as well, so you can get some of that later. Let's have a look. So, let's have a look. They, them. Yeah, we're getting woke in the thing. I thought she said, I think they fractured a rib. Wondered what they were doing to you. Well, fracturing a rib, by the sounds of it. You got to be careful with them bones. Do we know which one, which side, and front or back? It's front, isn't it? Is it one of the front ones? They're the ones that always go. Pedantic grammar.
Don't you mean...
There is a new one of those to load in. I'll get there at some point. And Charlotte says, sorry, peeps. Should have said the doctors think I've fractured a rib. Charlotte, I don't think you need to apologise for that. I think everyone, including journalists at the Daily Mail, knew whom you meant. The...
Don't you mean...
Whereas... just Kermit, for some reason, was fully conspiracy theory going like, what, the chemtrail people? I think that's what happened. Now, Proper Memes thinks it's Dr. Pepper. What's the worst that could happen? Well, it's a broken rib. So we finally answered that one. Kermit says, no, not clever people are in charge. What? And then we get into the issue here of the syllogism. Yeah. Chris Hood says, a silla what? Jism. And syllogism. Yeah. The surprise, surprise. You have to shout surprise, surprise when you're just about to peak. I think that's what it is. Or you can go, oh, Bobby. I think you're allowed to do that. Is that what it is? I don't know. We'll Google it later and find out more. So you're up to date with some of the stuff in there. You've not answered the question, though, Charlotte. What happened? What was the accident that led to... Obviously, you don't have to. You don't have to confess all the details. It's not a Jeremy Kyle show. Don't want to be harsh to him. I do work with him. Oh, I was on Talk TV last night. Anyway, more on that later. So let's do some of the...
Don't you mean
whom? Let's get back into... There we go. The actual news, wherever that is.
Let's get inside the news.
There's a chance it's too live and loose today, isn't it? My new plan is to make sure that what we don't do is put the audio from these Friday ones. No, this is secret. This is just on YouTube only. So well done for being here to witness this. Keep the comments coming through and other stuff. Right, let's get into what's in the papers. Yeah. Well, this one's actually not too bad. I'll put it up there. Beware raging There you go. There's your headline. Beware raging female. Exactly. Thoroughly agree with you. Couldn't have said it better myself. Oh, storms. All right. Let's see what it's all going on about. There's a picture of a storm in case you didn't know what they were talking about. Storms named after women are more deadly than those with men's names. Researchers say that it's because folk feel less threatened. This story's come out before, and I've used this on stage like years ago. In fact, I suppose I could tell you on a Friday Live and Loose, I had for a short time a bit of material that kind of worked until things went really harsh. And I didn't know about it at the time, so it's going to make me look really bad in retrospect. But I'm just saying, for the period when I did the joke, it was a good joke. This story, people don't think names... This is why we shouldn't name storms anyway. It's dumb. We copied it from America like obesity, and for some reason it's staying here now. We didn't used to name storms. Well, you knew what a storm, you know. You don't have to make friends with it. Well, I'm on first name terms with the thing that blew me bin over. So we name the storms like dumbass people. And I've got a complaint as well that so many of them aren't easy to pronounce. Which just means it's going to be hard to work out what you're doing when you try, oh, get out of the way, it's Storm Shiavan. How do you pronounce the SI thing? It's not what you need. You want them all called Bert. Get out of the way, Bert's coming. And the survey said that people don't find the female ones as scary because I guess they don't think women are as scary. And at the time, there was like a 2-week period when there was a Caroline Flack punchline that was okay because it was after the lamp thing but before what happened next. So obviously I had to drop that joke pretty sharpish. But it just... I think it actually proved the thing. Don't be so dumb as to think that female... It's a storm. It doesn't actually have a gender. Oh, the woke section's going to get upset in the comments on that one. Let's have a look what's going on there. Witness protection scheme. Oh, so they changed the name of the storms. Is this what you're saying? After the storms all kicked off, Then they changed the name. And it does actually move elsewhere, so you've got a good point. Justin's here, says, hell hath no fury like a woman stormed. Hey! I'm liking it. You're up to date today. Adam S. says, Chris. Oh, there's a witness protection. Not the town of Witness. Is there a town of Witness? Judel says, when I fractured a back rib about 20 years ago, it's because I was pishing. I was pished, oh yeah, and attempted to give my fella a lap dance and fell on a table corner. Oh, when the wine wore off, Christ, it was painful. I would say you need rounded tables. This is why, famously, the court of the round table is because they used to get absolutely S-faced and do some dancing, even with a suit of armour. Lancelot, Percival, they get that. You twerk near a table, you'll be grateful of a round one. That's all. You'll be grateful of a round one is one of my most common catchphrases. Judel says, storm, keef, exactly. Do you know what I mean? By the time I've worked out how to pronounce that, my house is gone. Proper Meme says, a tornado is like my ex-wife. Hang on. A tornado is like my ex-wife. Arrives fierce and wet and takes the house and car when it leaves. Lovely. My old friend, Andy Dufresne. Oh, no, wait a minute. That's the wrong impression. Kermit says, oh, my Charlotte, you weren't kidding about the dirty 30. Is that what happened? We're day one and boof. You're not quite at the 30 yet, though. Don't get an injury. Oh, you got an injury when you were 29. I'm fairly sure ages when they've got a 9 in them are the worst years. You will have a much better year next year. All right, let's keep going with the new stuff. Bye-bye, news story. I've got no idea what I was going to do with any of these stories, you see. Ricky Gervais says it is disgusting that dogs are being slaughtered in Morocco ahead of the 2030 World Cup. Animal welfare campaigners say a brutal cull of up to 3 million strays. Wowzers. Is because they want the African country which will jointly stage football showpiece with Spain and Portugal. The reason it's a bit of a weird story is it's not like Spain and Portugal have absolutely nailed the stray thing. You know what I mean? I went to Spain with an ex who she was kind of Spanish. And that's the best joke you're going to get in today's show. Let's be honest. Ting. And then it's all downhill from here. And her mum used to go out and feed the strays. She'd go with her. What? So, yeah. But yes, I think it's terrible that they're killing the strays. Let's also not forget what happened when they built all the stadia in Qatar. Because I think the migrant workforce ended up, some of them, very similar to those dogs. So we should probably have more sympathy. People like animals more than they do humans, so don't they? What's happening over here? We need an applause jingle. It'd never get used, proper memes. That's the problem with this show. And, oh, please, Charlotte, I went first to kind of give you permission. Oh, I see. Not even sure she meant it now. It's simply just to try and elicit the info out of you. Kermit says, that's true if you're in your 90s. That's a very good point. Spanish. You see, there was at least one joke on today's show. What more do you want, people? Are you not entertained? A new unfair dismissal rule fudge. Don't know what that headline means, but I like it because it mentions fudge, and then I'm disappointed to find out there's no fudge. Ministers have axed plans to give workers day one protection against unfair dismissal. The U-turn aims to get the employment rights bill spearheaded by Angela Rayner through Parliament. I've got a lot of sympathy for that. Day one of a job. Look, if you want to get people in work, you have to give workers rights. Also, you have to give workers rights, because otherwise, capital versus labour, capital ends up absolutely being in charge, right? But day one of a job, if you hire someone and you're like, wow, we've made a mistake, that probationary period's okay. You've got to have the ability to get rid of someone early doors. Otherwise, it's just going to be awkward. No one's going to hire anyone just for fear of like, oh, they seemed all right in an interview, but anyone can look good like that. Let's have a look. Oh, Kermit. I'm going to read that one out in a sec. I also think it's a lot to do with the fact that it's Angela Rayner. Now that she's been through being dismissed, she's like, well, if I have to do it, then so do they. Oh, eat by gum. My wife comes in like a storm. My old friend, Andy Dufresne. Where do we get to? Oh, yeah, here we are. Laughing ain't great with a cracked rib. Lucky it's only Steve. Why, I oughta. Laughing is the last thing you want to do with a cracked rib. Absolutely do not sneeze. Oh, dear. My mum, when she was old, used to... used to, if she sneezed, she always broke a little bit of wind. And one of the best things I ever saw when she did that whilst sitting down. She was also of an age. My mum was really old. I was a late addition to the family, so my mum was really old. And there was a lovely in the care home where she went to sit down. And she was so old, sitting down was basically getting roughly in position and then just going for it, right? You're probably still at the age where sitting down is a continuous function, whereas for her it was a discrete variable. She'd be, I'm up, and then I'm down. And she sneezed in that free fall period, sneezed, fart, and free fall. The shock nearly killed her in there and then. It was amazing. I'm amazed she recovered. Right. She was live and loose. Back when she was live. What else we got? Figure up 13% since June. Good to know. What figure? Might be interesting. Is it June's figure? Bless her. And I thought this year we had a hot May. The number of asylum seekers housed temporarily in UK hotels has risen by 13% in 3 months. Yeah, missed it by that much. The problem is, look, we had the news about the number of legal migrants down. If that's what you're into, that's good news. But no one ever talks about this. They keep talking about trying to get the cost of housing illegal migrants in hotels down. It won't make a difference because the contracts with the private companies are already in. So the contracts state that you have to pay them, whether people are in these hotels or not. So what we're actually doing is seeing politics trying to get people out of hotels, pretending it will keep the cost down, to pay exactly the same just for empty hotels. And then they'll end up being moved into army barracks or something like that, which will cost more money. The whole thing is bound to cost more money because they're pretending they're going to make it cost less. But I suppose it would take a level of bravery for the politicians to say, look, I know you don't want them in hotels, but we've got the contracts, so we might as well. Here's what they should do. Use army barracks if that's your solution. Get the hotels empty, but while you've already paid for them, don't let them sit empty. Solve the homeless problem by using the hotels, not the really expensive hotels. I suppose you could, but also, no. Because tonight, I'm gigging in Winchester and I'm on Talk Radio tomorrow. I've got to stay in a hotel. I guarantee you the room I'll be staying in will be worse than any of the ones we've talked about in any of the stories to do with this. And I reckon the government could give me one for free. We can cover this one. This one's been sat on my desk for ages. I don't know why we didn't do it at the time. Because it's right up our street. Are you ready? Of course it is. Only Grands. The 2026 calendar. I don't know who'd want this for Christmas. Wayne Rooney. Sorry, I think I'm allergic to something. I'm not sure how much of this I can show on the web stream. Oh, I mean, let's be honest, at her age, I can keep going before we see anything. Does this go all the way down to the hips? I said hips. Calendar pals. Glam Nans pose for a saucy 2026 calendar. Only Grands is a skit on adult. We got the joke. It features images of attractive OAPs created by AI. I see, fair enough. It's good that they're AI because, like, this is the one I worry about. Because this one, if your actual relative was the January one, that's kind of fair enough. But it's a bit of a long shot if you're related to December. You know what I mean? You don't want to be revealing that page posthumously. You're up to date with that? What's going on in here? Starmer thinks that when they lose 53,000 asylum seekers, that's 53,000 asylum seekers less to house in hotels. And swelling, what's happening here? Swelling may be up 13%, but acrobatic positions may be down 13%. You're talking about Charlotte and the broken rib. It really curtails. Yeah, took me a while. I broke my ribs on a mini moto. Do you remember when they were a thing? For some reason, society went through a trend of small little motorbikes. And I was working on a breakfast show down in the southwest on Wiltshire's GWR FM. Howard, Steve and Lucy in the morning. I was Lucy. And it's been through quite a lot. No, I was Steve. And we went mini motorbiking. And I thought I could do that. And I couldn't. Because I hadn't ridden a bike since being like 12. And I was in 28 or something. And fell off straight away. And there's audio, because we're all mic'd up. There's audio of me trying to pull off. And you just hear, vroom, vroom, I'm all right. Because I thought it was all right. And then I'd broken my ribs. And I drove home from that aerodrome thing where they did the bikes, unable to use second and fourth gear. All I could do was first and third. Could not pull that gear stick back down, and oof, not a hope about reversing. Oh, my days. Calendar Pearls, so steady on, says Charlotte, and a different kind of twin set and pearls. Just a new dirty old man. They're AIing grannies. But that's the thing. Would you prefer it if it was real grannies? It feels like I've created a false dichotomy. It's not as if there's only two situations. You're either having AI grannies or genuine naked grannies. There is a third option. None, I suppose, but that's not what we're doing here. All right, let's cover some more news while we can. Helena Bonham Carter. She said that Tim Burton sketched as she was literally giving birth to their two sons. He used to draw quite a lot. Speaking in a new documentary, Tim Burton, Life in the Line, she said he literally draws his way through life. How did he manage to pull her? That is, well done. Even through momentous occasions. I'd be having a child. Oh, he was having a child. And he would still sketch. Literally giving birth. We've got our whole life sketched. Some people take videos and pictures, and you have to go through what looks like courtroom evidence. Like, oh, here's a quick sketch of me pushing a child out there. Yeah. I had thought of a pun, forgotten it now, when I was reading through the stories. Something about, can you tell what it is yet? And she'd want to know the gender of the child, and he'd be like, it looks like I'm drawing a kangaroo. But somehow, next thing you're into a Rolf Harris joke. I don't know. Did not prepare this show. A slice of help on gifts. Folks spend an average of 29 hours preparing for Christmas, buying presents, the biggest stress. Wrapping gifts, that's 29 hours in itself, isn't it? Cooking and decorating were the top ones. Yeah. We've flipped now, by the way. It's the 28th of November. Before, about the 25th of November, I spend all of my time saying, Christmas is getting earlier every year. Have you noticed? Christmas is just getting earlier every year. 25th of November. How is it nearly Christmas? What the blip? What the going on with that? You're up to date. 29 hours doesn't seem bad, though, does it? 24 of them are Christmas Eve when I do most of the work, so I'm not... Feels like that's fine. Roho Hodents. Huh? Hoarding... I still don't get any of these headlines. Hoarding festive goods in garages and sheds could spark a rat invasion. As we hurtle towards Christmas... I'm saying Christmas, that's a stupid word, isn't it? And temperatures plummet, many folks are tempted to leave treats outside as fridges and cupboards fill up. But expert Simon Taylor from garage and shed firm Legit Compton revealed that rodents sniff them out. Oh, have you got the kind of shed where rats can get in it? Yeah. Yeah. Poor you. I don't know how you cope. This is flipping rat-proof. This is air-proof. I have to let air in every so often because the carbon dioxide gets a bit too much. I will say, I found another button on here, by the way. We don't have the side cam. It's not arrived yet. At some point it will. A while ago, I tried to set up shed cam because this shed studio thing has cameras in that sense motion. But they've got IP addresses and they're all password protected, I hope. But you can see, and I thought we'd load one in. And I never used it because the delay's too much. But look.
You can see,
hey,
I would load in. I never used the delay much.
Look.
Hey, shut
Look
up.
at the delay on that.
Look at the delay on that.
So, I don't know. There you go. You wanted to see what the clothes look like not through side cam? This one. There it is.
There it is.
There's all the clothes I'll be wearing later.
This one over here
is a Christmas-themed
jacket ready for when we do a Christmas-themed show.
This is the red shirt.
It's the red shirt that kind of fun to like.
And there's all the drawers. Shed cam. It's now loaded in as a button. Let's see what's happening in the comments. Oh, for the love of God. The comments need to be on every page of this, don't they? Marriage to him was a Burton. Says proper memes. Halloween is the eve of the Christmas season. You reckon as soon as all the pumpkins are gone, it's time to get stuck in. Christmas crackers and party rats. Sounds like hats. I have two questions, says Charlotte. Is there going to be an unboxing today? And can I have an eyebrow lift, please? Get rid of this. if you listen to the All Hit Radio show today from 1 or get the podcast, there is a thing about Roger Moore. He gets a mention. There's a Roger Moore impression in there as well. And I can't give you the story now because I'm trying to keep the content separate. But there's something about, are we sleep zombies? And somehow during all that, gets in there. Expert in what exactly, says Joodles? Rats, olfactory systems. They actually might be, to be fair. That does happen. Double Steve voice. Oh, do you get the voice when I load in the camera? It's a worry. Is there? Oh yes.
Oh yes. Oh,
Look at that. Fixed it. No, not fixed it. Fixed it. You want the camera? You want the eyebrow as well? Very light. Of course, there's a massive delay. It's a flipping IP security camera. Oh, my phone's going off as well. And you need to mute the shed cam. I just did. Yeah. Well, you know, live and learn, don't you? I assumed an eyebrow lift was a medical procedure. You can't need that at almost 30. They don't sag, do they? That was creepy, says Proper Memes. All right, stop judging. Oh, for the love. All right, I'm going to reorganise that later. Back into this. End of the roll. Britain's only carpet museum is closing down. Oh, really? Wow. How will we cope? The Museum of Carpet in Kidderminster. As if that sentence wasn't boring enough. Opened in 2012. Oh, not even one of those historic things. In 2012, someone thought, I know what the world needs. A Museum of Kidderminster Carpets. And despite being hailed on TripAdvisor as a great shag pile. You see, that's what they should have lent into, isn't it? They really should have gone for the full kind of shag museum. Deep shag museum. And next door to the tobacco one, the rough shag museum. And then you could have had like a little eatery on the way out. Call it like the Rug Muncher. There are many things that you could have done that would have got more people through your doors. They would have been sorely disappointed. But at least you would have kept the figures high. You might still be open. Chris Hood says, did someone pull the rug from under the museum? Yep. Something underlay. Do that joke. Some about Spanish. Emsicles. Everyone better pile down there now. Good. Thank you, Steve, for the eyebrow. Duh. And I think we're up to date. They needed someone more rugged to manage it. Thank you, by the way, everyone, for commenting in the section, because sometimes I worry that my jokes don't look good. And it's things like that that show my 20 years in the business. They've paid off a little. That's how Charlotte cracked a rib. What, the old steady on, old boy. Final news story. Gen Z hits brakes over test fail fears. Millions of fretting adult Gen Zers, adults, aren't bothering to learn to drive because of a fear of failing. Good. A quarter of 17 to 28-year-olds who are happy to rely on taxis and parents, yeah, you got your Uber these days, to show for them about, say, costly driving lessons. Yeah, no kidding. Was there it was some gig recently, I can't remember which one. The MC was talking to the audience when there was a driving instructor in, and the MC asked, like, how much are lessons these days? And it was the Milton Keynes gig. And the guy said, £45. It was £10 per lesson when I learned to drive. 45 I mean, obviously you deserve it, the danger money alone, but 45 quid for a driving lesson? And these days you've got all your different types of tests to pass, and there's a backlog of people not even been able to pass anyway. So the last thing we need is to talk Gen Zers into actually trying to learn to drive. Plus also, I know you're meant to say, oh, we were all drivers once. Yeah. It's just really annoying getting stuck behind a learner driver. Oh, we were all learners once. Yeah. We were all in nappies once, but if someone craps their pants in front of you in the street, I feel like you still can complain. Do you know what I mean? So at some level, I think I've got a good point there. All right. That's the news stories done. Judel says, I do hope you know how much we, presumably, but can't vouch for, but I can vouch for me at least, do laugh at these streams. Hopefully at least 3 times. I think there's been 3 jokes in today's show that I've done. Obviously, there's been more in the comment section. I'm willing to take. Spanish was the main one, wasn't it? I did my test while I was a boy soldier. It was free. And then also now, if anyone shouts, like if anyone taps the dash, what's it called? Dashboard. But they don't say that, do they? When I tap it is the dashboard. Do an emergency stop. He flipping kills the lights, off road, all that business, doesn't he? Mine was £7 from Arnold the Milkman. It's a saving, but the problem is you can only do 15 miles an hour now. But other than that, it's absolutely, I'm glad you got the license there. You did have to put up with him feeling your leg. Probably worth it, though. Some people pay £8 for that. I could negotiate with him, couldn't I? So, 3 opportunities to use the applause jingle. Well, let's not go as far as applause. I don't mind a titter. I was talking about the rough shag pile. Is that what did her ribs in? Yes, you do have to be careful with that. You've got to be aware of your surroundings. It's like trying to do the human pyramid, isn't it? I laugh all the time, says Charlotte. My neighbours must think, what the hell's going on? They must think you literally bursting a rib or whatever the phrase is. Can we have this as the quote for this show? Can you leave a comment after it's gone from the live one to the actual one saying, was it funny? I'd split my sides or whatever, something about your ribs. Don't give the actual detail of what happened. Erroneously imply that this show damaged your side. That's how funny it was. The jingle's in your inbox. All right, Russian spy. Oh, no, you actually mean a jungle. Okay. We'll see. I don't have a great track record at loading these things in incredibly quickly. I've got another spam email, but I suppose I should read that before we actually load it in. That'll be on Tuesday's show. Chat amongst yourselves. Hang on. Studio audience. We have a jingle thing here called... They always get loaded in too loud, so I apologise ahead of time. Nice. So, 2 nuns in a bath. One says, where's the soap? The other one says, yeah, it does, doesn't it? We can work with that. We can absolutely work with that. Thank you very much for these. I need to load it in so I can hear what it sounds like as well. Studio audience, monitor, and output. Boom. You don't get this on other streamers, do you? This level of technical advancement. Where do we get to? So, you can do it. I have done it. There are no other jokes to wait for. I've got to do me plugs in a second. Do they sound slightly terrified? Which is not a bad thing. I'm not saying they're wrong. Right, let's have a go at this.
Here are the plugs where you can see Steve and Helen all this week.
I think you've come across quite a lot of these already, but here we go. So, the plugs. Tonight, I'm performing in Winchester, supporting Rialina on tour. We wrote the Rialina Goes Forensic radio show together. Have a look at that on BBC iPlayer if you'd like to learn some science and some jokes. Saturday on Talk Radio, 6 a.m, show guests going through the news. I imagine they'll probably talk about the budget. Because you know how much I'm enjoying that. So we'll do some of that. That does mean it's Friday night in a hotel. Dirty. Follow me on social media for pictures of all the disease things that I'm dealing with. Because I can't afford proper London hotel fees without wiping out the profit of being on Talk Radio. So I go on booking.com, find the cheapest thing ever, and just hope I wake up with both kidneys. That's how my career's gone. Then Sunday, GB News, 7 o'clock, Free Speech Nation. I'll be there trying to make light of some awkward stories. Normally that's what I do anyway. That's what they pay me for. Wednesday night in Alton. Stand-up comedy gig. I think I'm headlining... I can't remember what it's called. Details on Instagram on that one. They seem to be plugging that one on Instagram. Thursday, GB... Oh, yeah, because Wednesday's a gig. It means Thursday night I'll be doing the newspaper review on GB News at 11 o'clock. Next Friday, I'm in Kingston, even though I wrote the word kingdom, which technically I am still in the kingdom, so didn't bother rewriting it. All hit radio every day from 1, every weekday from 1. Plus, today, the podcast of it has different material. It fits together nicely. I would recommend it as a companion piece. The zombie joke is the best joke out of the whole thing. Substat.com, Mr. Stephen Allen, What else we got? Ko-fi, thumb it, like it, smash. I also realised what I can do is load in the front pages, but I can show you Substack. There you go, substack.com. I set the goal as my own private island. It says I've achieved 1% of it. I don't know if I have mathematically, but it feels good that we're getting there, guys. We are getting there to buy this podcast its own private island in the Thames. Now, obviously, the island itself that's just been bought for, is it £98,000, will go up in price by the time we buy it. But we're just trying to get our foot on the ladder of buying our own island. We'll see what we can do. 1%, my 1% of the way of getting my own island. Our own island. Yeah. Also, thank you very much for, look, top supporters. Thank you. I should do a shout out to my my supporters. The leaderboard. Chris, big up your bad self. Tom, Tom's never in the chat. Tom, I think, just typed an extra 0 once, and it's going to keep him in that leaderboard for a while. Joodles, big up your bad self. Thank you for this. And Single Step, thank you for your contributions. Looks like there's only 4 places to vie for. I like it. That's a good way of doing it. You can also go to subscribe on substack.com/@Mr. Stephen Allen. You can see some of the latest things. How to Marry an Aristocrat is the most recent post on there. Some of these are written when I'm at GB News, so they get very angry about various things. A lot of controversy, both probably, about the UK cyclist thing. Trump versus the BBC. That got a mention on Talk TV last night. So you're up to date with those. Let's have a look. Is Dolan on the weekends too now? I don't know. I know he's done breakfast this week, so I don't know who's doing breakfast on the weekend. But I'll see, whoever it is. I mean, it could be... Is Alex back doing them? I would normally have a good laugh with Alex. She knows lots of big words as well. I do quite like that. That's more like Oprah Winfrey came out in fancy dress. The round of applause. Yes, it'd be kind of happy, but also a little bit scared. As your brain goes, technically she can wear that face makeup. Not like Justin Trudeau can't, she can. But that kind of moment, I don't know. Is it Dolan on the weekend? I read that one. Free Speech Nation, says Joodles. Yep, I'll be there. 6 a.m. What time would you get up for that? 5. Oi, I get up and prepare. I will be across all of the news, I'll have you know. Plus also the hotel I'm staying in is like half hour away. So I'll be going up at 5:20. Just the tip, says Proper Memes. I thoroughly agree, thank you. That's Ko-fi. Yep. That's Ko-fi. That's your Ko-fi page. And the Substack one I showed them. And I have a present for you, but not till the next stream, says an injured Charlotte. I got a present for you, but I can't quite reach it. Is it going to be one of those? And not until the rib is better, surely, says Kermit. Exactly. Got to make sure you rest it. Have they wrapped it up? Because they can't get in there and fix those bones, can they? Yeah, honestly, I fell onto my elbow when I broke my ribs, and now there's an elbow-shaped space in there if ever I need it. But right, if I need to smuggle elbows, I got a place. So today's Live and Loose. We've done everything. You got all the info. Thank you for your comments. I've also done all the plugs. So I'm out of here. Tuesday, we'll do another one of these, and that will have more prep going into it. We'll have more. You won't notice the prep, but there will be more prep going into it. Oh, I might as well play out with the advert today, seeing as I filmed it the other day. And Justin says, barbecue sauce applied. Oh, to her ribs. Oh, you harsh. Oh, imagine she sat there in pain. And you're trying to season the woman. Something according to a source. These are the jokes that I expect to be happening in the comment section, and yet they're not for some reason. We didn't do energy drink of the day because I didn't finish this. I think we're up to date. Thank you very much for your ears in this general direction. Be healing, Charlotte, says Julie. Yes, do all you can. When you break a bone, I've broken quite a few bones like in recent times. I managed to get to my late 30s, nothing. After then, I managed to do a finger, a wrist, a toe, not in the same day, not in the same dance routine, but, and I remember you need to take more iron on at the start. Obviously calcium because it's a bone, but you need more iron on at the start because iron is used in like the lattice thing that you form. Make sure you get your vitamins, make sure you get your minerals. And comfrey. Have you heard of comfrey? If you don't, be careful how you spell it when you Google it. That's all I'm saying to you. But traditional old recipe things used to be known as knit bone. I'm from the kind of people who did all that stuff. Not that I necessarily agree with alternative stuff now, but it's good to know. Get some of that down you. It's the time of the seasoning, says Proper Memes. Thank you for making mine look good. That joke deserves... Right. Till next time, have yourself a good one. And that was today's... Welcome to Friday Live and Loose with me, Steve and Alan.
Here comes the news with a twist and a grin. Steve and Alan diving in again. Almost daily, but always sharp. He'll hit your brain like a lightning spark. Steve and Alan, almost daily. Laughs and facts, served out plainly. Your dose of wit, it's never shady. Steve and Alan, almost daily.
Hi, I'm Stephen Allen. You might recognise me from Stephen Allen's Almost Daily, or, Well, I'm here to remind you to support your local YouTuber. There are a few ways that you could help. You could subscribe to substack.com/@Mr. Stephen Allen, but then you'd get the emails about the things that are right. You'd probably have to read those. Ko-fi.com/Mr. Stephen Allen, where you could donate your tips. It's a simple system where for every £1 that you give, you buy Stephen Allen £1. I'm done.